Flat perspective. Maybe a strange name, but a very useful function. We click on Open, select the file fx_03.es, the root of your DVD, the folder Project Files and the subfolder AS. We're first going to make a nice little cube of this bitmap, but we're going to use a proxy object or a template if you wish. So we're going to draw a cube, a square over the bitmap to get the right dimensions. In this case it is a square. Go into wireframe and select FX Flat Perspective. With the nodes you see, you can edit the perspective, and if you press the Ctrl key you can retain the movement horizontally or vertically. After a while the vanishing point will show up, but you can fine-tune the perspective. I think this is alright by now. I'm gonna set a guideline here and a guideline there. Gonna click the vanishing point on the crossing of the guidelines, and I add a guideline over here. With the Ctrl key pressed, I'm going to flip this one over its axis. Click once on the right mouse button to leave a copy behind. And I'm going to copy this vanishing point to here by dragging a rectangle, flipping it around its axis, delete them, and now I can make the top of the cube by simply clicking on this point to this vanishing point, from that point to this vanishing point. Select both of the lines and add an Add Nodes effect. So here will appear a node on which I can click the points later on. I'm going to select the bitmap. I'm going to scale it a little and add a flat perspective. I'm going to wireframe, works a little easier. Click the points on the other nodes. Flip this one around its axis, leave a copy behind. Go to color view, duplicate this one. I'm going to put it roughly into place, like so. Go back to wireframe and click the nodes on the other nodes. Let it calculate, and here we have our cube. I'm going to select this object and remove it, and I want to remove the two rectangles that lay behind the bitmaps. So I select the bitmaps first with the Shift key, and with the Shift key still pressed, I drag a rectangle around it. Now the selected objects are deselected and the not selected objects are now selected, so I can press delete. To finish it off, place some shadow under it. Just draw a rectangle, select Effects, Flat Perspective, snap them onto these parts. First going Shift page down, and then adjust the perspective so we will get a nice shadow under it. Select Transparency tool, Linear Gradient, and make sure this side is completely transparent. Adjust the center point, think like this, and change the color to blue. And then put a circle behind it to finish it all off. If you want to add some more realism, just select the Bezier tool, click on the corner points, like so, make it also blue, gradient transparent, and add a little shadow, like so. And we're finished with our cube. Another useful feature is, when you have made a design to put on a customer's car, you can show how it will look after the work is done. I'm going to first put one on the bonnet or hood. Effect flat perspective. Again, just move the points. First put it roughly into place. And then look for finishing lines like this. And like this one and this one. And then let it calculate. We're done with the bonnet or hood. On the side of the door, exactly the same effect, flat perspective. And then find the vanishing lines. I think this will do quite nicely. To give it a little realism, you can always add some transparency to let it vanish a little in the background. It's a little too much. And you get a nice view for your customer to see what it will look after all the work is done.